evening, everyone. Good evening. It is, let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that notice, but it should go away in just a minute. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. How's everybody doing? I hope everyone is faring well. I'm excited because we are less than, let me see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days from our 5-day Savvy Money Makeover Challenge. Come on in. Okay, ladies, let me see those cameras. Come on now. We have to get to know one another. If you are here for the first time for our WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday, let me know in the chat, put first time. I want to give you some shout outs. Who's here for the first time? Terry, if you can bring that chat up for me so that I can see who's in the room with me so that I'm not looking down at my computer. Excellent. So let's see. Good evening, Kimberly Mingo. Welcome to WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. Vernicia Rogers, welcome to you as well. Tamara Alexander, man, we got first timers. I would love to know in the chat, how did you find out about WealthyU, our WealthyU Wind Down, our challenge? How did you find out by WealthyU? Was it Facebook? Was it Instagram? Did someone refer you? Okay, so excellent. Tanya says Facebook post. That's great. We like to know how our marketing is working. Michelle says Facebook. Stacy Ann says co-worker refer. We love referrals. So by the way, if you have some other friends that are, want to know how to accelerate their financial growth, how to run for their first 6 or 7 figures, you're in the right place. Let's see. So Stacy Ann, let me see. Well, we got a lot of first timers. Denitra, Instagram, excellent. Oscar Webb says, I watched the Roland Martin show. That's right. We have a Get Wealthy program that airs every week on the Black Star Network. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have coming, well, what we have going on this week, because it's an awesome show. And then next week, the fireworks are going to be lit up. Kimberly says, I don't recall. Well, I have to say, for all of you who are here, we want to welcome you into our WealthyU community and let you know that every week we're here talking about how you can accelerate your financial growth. I'm going to talk a little bit about, last week I gave you guys some backstory really on how I came on this path to want to inform people about what I believe the most important skill that I never learned. I don't know about you. No, it's not just for women, Oscar, although, my focus is women, but Dennis, one of our members, is in the house. So Dennis will let you know that, hey, the sisters are welcoming too, as long as you're here with the right spirit. Ain't that right, Dennis? So no, Oscar, we welcome you. I know oftentimes Roland, a lot of the men are saying, yeah, that Get Wealthy, she's always talking about women. Yeah. So all I'm going to say, it's, made for a woman, but it's strong enough for a man. How about that? If you want to learn about how to build wealth, how to create generational wealth for your family, then you are in the right place. All right. Let's get this party started. It's WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. So I want to invite all of you, if this is your first time, one of the things I love to do on Wind Down Wednesday is really toast all of you. And I always like to say when I'm drinking, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It is, I remember the brand this time, it's Decoy. And I think it's like their limited edition, but all I know, it is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I'm going to toast all of you. And we're going to get to it. So let's talk about it. One turn up time, right, Oscar? Well, here, we kind of chill with WealthyU, just so you know. But listen, the topic for tonight that I really wanted to double click on is the truth about wealth. And here's what I want you to know is that everything that you and I were taught about what it takes to achieve financial success and ultimately financial independence is a lie. Can I say that? Can I say that? Agree with me or disagree. But let me take you down a little path. So I don't know about you, but throughout my childhood, neither of my parents had a college degree. In fact, my mother dropped out of high school and married my father in her senior year of high school and promised my grandmother my mother at the time was living with her aunt, that he was going to make sure she completed high school. Well, she didn't. My father was in the Navy. They ended up traveling. They had their first child in Washington, D.C., their second child in Honolulu, Hawaii, and then we settled in Detroit. And, the thing about Detroit at that time in the what would have been the 50s and 60s, that you could basically get live a pretty decent middle-class lifestyle just from working in the factory. But, my mother worked in the factory and she hated that factory. I just got to tell you, she hated every day she went in there because my mother grew up in Pineapple, Alabama, and worked in the cotton fields. So there was nothing, she didn't want nothing to have to do with anything that had to do with labor. So anyhow, they end up in Detroit. We're living a middle-class existence. I'm the youngest of 5, and my parents really sacrificed for me. In fact, they sent me to a private Catholic high school. When I was going into high school, they drilled into me as their youngest that they wanted the best for me. And as you can imagine, as their middle-class lifestyle increased, then all different kinds of things increased. I shared with you guys last week that my father, and I know you got a lot of I've got a lot of first timers. So my father was actually a sky cap or a baggage handler for United Airlines. And so that gave me a lot of exposure, and I had an opportunity to travel. And I also sometimes got to fly in first class. And so that allowed me to see a totally different lifestyle. But anyhow, drilled into me was go to school, go to college. That college is going to give you a great career, and that is how you achieve financial success. Now, if you can relate to that in the chat, was that the financial success roadmap that you were given? If you were told, go to college, get a great job, earn 6 figures, that was your ticket to financial success. Oh, wait a minute. Not only go to college, but the more degrees you got, the more money you would earn. How many of you were told that as your financial success roadmap? So let's see. So Oscar said, yes, that was big. That's right. Sonia says yes. Teresa says yes. Michelle says yes. Angela says yeah. And Deborah says, yes, the degrees. Now, do you know that women, Black women specifically, have some of the highest educational attainment, but they got the lowest net worth? The math ain't mathing. Are you with me? I mean, that might not agree or disagree with me. The math is not mathing. Okay? Because what we were sold was a financial, a roadmap that basically led us right into debt. Okay? Agree or disagree? That's right, Tanya. The math ain't math. And it is interesting. Myself, my parents separated at when I was in my first year of college, and I was traumatized by it because they had been married 30 years. And I saw my mother's standard of living decrease. And all in my mind, all I could think about was, I have to have a purse of my own. I have to be financially secure. And then, as I went on, and I didn't know what drove me to the investment industry, but that was part of it, wanting to figure this whole money thing out, right? And so last week I shared how when I start in this industry, the market crashes, and I see all these people, middle-class people, factory workers, selling their stock when the market crashes. But then I see the wealthy people doing the absolute opposite, right? And as I went up throughout my career, I saw that get a good job, get many degrees, make as much income, that was not the financial success roadmap that they followed. And so what I share in WealthyU is those secrets and those insights. And they're almost the opposite of what we're told. Are y'all with me? That's right, Oscar. Buy stocks when others are fearful, but it's not just any stocks. Are you with me? Specifically, there are strategies that are deployed so that regardless of the ups and downs of the market, they still are able to accumulate assets. Because that's what I want to share with you guys today. So who in the chat, if you're ready to hear the truth about wealth in the chat, let me know. Say, I'm ready to hear. Okay, are you ready to hear the truth about wealth? Lisa says, I'm ready. Who else is ready? Bernicia says, I'm ready. Tamara says, I'm ready. Terry says, I'm ready. Sonia said, I'm ready. So the question I have, though, is if you saw some of our Facebook ads, our Instagram ads, one of the things we lean heavily on in WealthyU is actually sharing the financial transformations, if you will, that when people apply, right, the actual wealth blueprint that they learn in WealthyU, how in a very short period of time, when they apply those principles, that they take off. And we have many of if you're a member of any of our programs and you're in the chat tonight, I want you to say, I'm a member and I'm applying that blueprint. Well, more, you don't have to say that. Just say, I've applied it and it works. So if you've applied the blueprint and you're part of the WealthyU Society, just say it'll work if you work it. In the chat, let me know. It'll work if you're applying the principles, the real wealth blueprint. Concetta says it'll work if you work it. And so Stephanie says it'll work if you work it. Rethia says, by the way, Realty just had $27,000 worth of student loan paid off. Woo woo! That's how we do it in WealthyU. Okay. Azalea, it'll work if you work it. Okay. All right. So what I want you to know is the stories that you hear in WealthyU, the stories that we tell in WealthyU about our members are for real, right? Like for real. And what I want you to know is that literally in our 5-day our Get Wealthy 5-day challenge, that's exactly what you're going to learn. So if you haven't joined our 5-day challenge, if you're listening to me on YouTube or any of the other platforms that we're streaming, I want you to, why don't we put the Linktre chat Linktree link in there for me, ladies. So if people haven't joined, they can join. Let's put that on the platform. It'll take them right to the they'll be able to understand everything that we have going on, but more importantly, that you register for the challenge. And so what I want to talk to you about tonight is really how I discovered the fact that the blueprint we were given didn't lead us to a destination. Basically, it was leading us to a destination to remain just like our forefathers were, and that sharecropper. So I'm going to double click on that a little later, but that's where we're going tonight. And so what I want you to know is, see, I had to take my notes because this is really what I want you to understand is the truth about wealth. And here's the truth is that basically the reason I founded WealthyU was because I discovered in my own life that I had been given the wrong wealth blueprint just by climbing the ranks into management in two of the largest financial services organizations in investment and insurance, and seeing that, oh man, they do the opposite of what we're being told. And not only that, but it is fundamentally, here's what I want to say, is at first I thought I could just give you the right information and that you would just apply it. This is what I believe. And so I was in the investment industry. I left it. I wrote my first book after I left Fidelity Investment, Confident Investing. I went on tour with the National Association of Securities Dealers, the regulatory agency, which is now FINRA. Like I said, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So I'm like, I write a book and I throw everything in this book, but the kitchen sink, sharing everything about the financial markets, how they work, the stock market, history. I mean, Confident Investing, a wealth building guide for women. That book was comprehensive. And I'm telling you, I felt like, yes, this was exactly what we needed. But do you guys know what? Not only did it not make a big of an impact, that book published by Macmillan, which was bought by Pearson, didn't have a huge impact. And here's the other thing. Not only did I write that book, but then I get a call one day, an amazing call. Anchor from BET, Cheryl Martin, calls me and says, Deb, Bishop Jakes wants you to go on tour. I'm like, what? And all I could think was, oh, I'm not a preacher, right? And so when I go to meet with his folks, and it was the God's Leading Ladies tour, I meet Bishop Jakes, and I said, well, Bishop Jakes, you know I'm not a preacher. He said, honey, if I wanted a preacher, I know thousands of them. So that was really funny. So I go on this tour. We go to Coliseums, North Carolina, man, we're in Philadelphia, and then what I realized after that tour, and also I got some of the worst advice I'd ever gotten in my life. That's a story for another day. I'm going to tell you guys that story if you haven't heard it. But anyhow, I go on this tour and I'm touring everywhere. I've got all kinds of companies sponsoring me, from State Farm to Allstate. I'm doing wealth building seminars. I mean, I am an ambassador, an influencer before they even knew what an influencer is. And I got frustrated. I'm going to be honest with you. I got really frustrated because I would go to different places. I would be in stadiums And then I was on the radio. Kathy Hughes gave me my first start in radio on her first station in WOL in Washington, D.C., then Baltimore. All I want you guys to know is that this has been a journey. And I've been trying to figure this out. And, you know, the more I speak, the more, you know what people say to me? Oh, I had I had an MBA at Howard University tell me that investing was gambling. I mean, I hit up against every wall, people telling me of why they didn't have any money, or that either that investing was risky, or that they had to put their money in the bank. I mean, whew. And then you know what I discovered? Was that because that financial success blueprint that we were given had become a belief that it was going to be difficult changing it. How many of you can relieve that, right? How many of you can understand that when you have a system, and when your parents and your parents' parents, your parents, you're a parent, when you tell that from generation to generation, it becomes a belief. Agree or disagree with me? And when someone comes to you out of the blue telling you that, listen, everything you've been taught is a lie and is not going to take you to the promised land, you know you're going to tell them they are wrong and that no, and you know, plus you got a vested interest. Some of you how many of you have spent at least $50,000 on your education after high school? If it's over 50, put over 50. Some of you have spent 5 figures, 6 figures, multiple 6 figures on your formal education. And if I were to say to you that that is not the pathway to financial success, are you going to argue with me? Are you going to tell me that it's not true? Yes, you are. And so after I wrote the book, Confident Investing, then I wrote another book, Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. And that was the true story of a gentleman who never made more than $12 an hour and built a 6-figure portfolio. You want to make, a 7-figure portfolio, $1 million portfolio. And that's if you want to make sure that in the challenge that you are here, because I'm giving those books away. And if you join the challenge and get VIP level, you're going to get a free downloaded copy for the book. And you can also win a hard copy. So I just want the team put the VIP challenge link down there too. And all y'all members already got it. So come on, right? Okay. So then I write the next book. I said, surely, Lord, surely, if I write a book and I show people that this man only went as far as the 8th grade, he only made as much as $12 an hour. And he had the good fortune, like me, of being around. He worked in a parking lot of the bank with the wealthiest customers. And rather than doing what a lot of you guys do, overthink stuff and think about and talk yourself out of everything, what he did is he simply watched what the wealthy people did and followed suit. He watched how they went in that bank, and they put their stock certificates in, and then all different times of the month they would get dividends checks, and he would see them putting it in the safe deposit box. He didn't overthink it. He said, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have me 1,000 shares of stock. And he had 1,000 shares of that bank that he worked for, Mercantile, which was then purchased by PNC Bank. Are y'all with me? So then I said, surely, they'll be able to see what he was able to accomplish, and then it's all over. Boom. I know I can make an impact and get to 1 million families that can grow $1 million in net worth. came up with all kind of excuses about why it wouldn't happen for them, or, you know, I'm telling you, I have heard it all. And so, to be honest with you, I got frustrated with all of y'all. I said, you know what, Lord, forget these people. Like, they're going to have to find the promised land on their own. I'm going to get me another nice little cushy job. I had a client recruit me inside. And so wow, let me see, how long was I there? I was there. I planned on being there a couple of years, but I was there for almost 7 years. And then, you know how when you're not in alignment, that it becomes real difficult for you. It became real clear to me that was not where I was supposed to be. I needed to get back in alignment. So while I was there, I got my MBA. And then that company paid for my MBA. I'm talking about being strategic. That's what you learn in WealthyU. And at the same time, I write another book, A Purse of Your Own. The day that I left there, that position, my book, A Purse of Your Own, published by Simon & Schuster, launched the A Purse of Your Own campaign, CNN, I'm all over. I got all these sponsors, Ford, GM, I'm going to have all of these. So my goal then was I was going to have purse groups all around the country. I had in the book, I had exactly how you start a purse group. I had leader groups. I had them all over. So over 1,400 groups signed up, and then they all petered out. I was like, surely, I've given them a roadmap, A Purse of Your Own. I went on to build a curriculum for a university. I toured universities around the country. I created an actual course for Bay Path University, proctored that, became a professor. All of those purse groups fittered out. And all I could think is, what am I doing wrong? I gotta ask you, have you ever tried and tried, and somehow things just didn't seem to be working out? If you can relate to that, if you've tried and failed and things still don't seem like they're going to work out, if you can relate, if you ever failed, in the chat, put, I failed, but I kept on going. Okay? I kept on going. Because here's what I want you to know. And it's our motto in WealthyU. You never lose. You either win or you learn. I failed, I kept going. That right? And so here's the lesson I needed to learn. I'm going somewhere. I'm telling y'all the truth about wealth. Okay, we're going to get there, but I need you to understand the path. Okay, so I launched this A Purse of Your Own campaign. I write another book. I just, it's like flitters. And then just when I'm ready to give up again, my son says to me, because he would do strategy with me every year on what was then Owens Media Group. And he said, Mom, listen, you've done all this work. Now, you done drug me and my sister everywhere to every book signing in America. And you're now known as America's Wealth Coach. And in fact, Roland Martin gave me that moniker. He was like, you're not just any wealth coach, you're America's Wealth Coach. I've known that gentleman for 25 years. We go way back. So anyhow, my son says to me, he says, Mom, he said, Mother, that's how he calls him, what he calls him. You are America's Wealth Coach. And coaching is personal. And so coaching brings accountability and support. So here's what you should do. You should take that curriculum that you spend all those hours, all that time proctoring it, making it a success. You own that curriculum. You take that curriculum and you create WealthyU, and you now take this curriculum, and now you're going to have people go through the curriculum, and you're going to give them accountability and support. And I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty good. So in 2015, I launched WealthyU. And for many years, well, for a few years, it was just individual coaching. And some of the people who started in the Purse of Your Own campaign, then went through WealthyU one-on-one coaching, are still in WealthyU, right? Here it is, 6-7 years later. And for a few years, I was not convinced that we could have a community that would all come together, learn together, and give accountability and support. And so for a few years, it was one-on-one coaching. Yes, it was a significant investment for one-on-one coaching with me. You go through maybe 6 months with me, coaching sessions, learn through that curriculum, the Purse of Your Own book, and then you would have the knowledge that you need in order to take ownership of your financial success and build an investment portfolio. Then what do you think happens? COVID happens. Oh man, do you guys remember the market went, you guys remember how fast the market went down? If you remember the market, how fast the market went down. And my phone started ringing off the hook. All of the people who had been through coaching, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? The market's down, blah, blah, blah. And so it occurred to me. Now, remember, because these are one-on-one coaching, they didn't know each other. Okay. And so and I had done some events around WealthyU, but the members really didn't know one another. So anyhow, my phone started ringing out off the hook, and I was like, you know what? Come on, y'all. I didn't told y'all, I done given you the roadmap. I showed you how wealthy people, when the market goes down, that's when they invest. But somehow all of that went out the window, just like it's going out the window right now, right? And so I launched our first challenge. And first I did a 21-day challenge. Then we went right into a 5-day challenge, which is the challenge we are about to go through next week. Again, if you're on any platform, make sure you sign out for the free 5-day challenge. And you can also up level to a VIP pass, and that's where you're going to get kind of intimate, what do I want to say, community every night, very similar. So think of it, for those of you who are in Get Wealthy right now, and think of it just like this, but we're going 5 days, and it's intense. So anyway, I do this challenge. All these people, all my old coaching clients come, and they've got questions. Well, what do we do? It's like, come on now, let's go back over the process, right? 7 wealthy habits: mindset, strategy, and execution. What do you do? Mindset: problems are opportunities. Strategy: identify the opportunities that are going to do well in the future environment. Execution: execute, accountability and support. And so then I launch what is now our flagship program, our WealthyU Society. That was in March of 2000, was it 20 or 2019? When did COVID happen? Whatever year COVID was, that's when we launched. Now, here's the thing, what I mean about you never lose, you either win or you learn. And sometimes you got to practice what you preach. So 2020, okay, great. So in 2020, we had I want to say that first class, we had 50 members join up. That is when we created the framework through which, well, really, the WealthyU Society has changed tremendously. Now we have, and many of you may have met our WealthyU ambassadors, and many of those WealthyU ambassadors, all of the WealthyU ambassadors have been members in our WealthyU. Some of them were in wealth coaching. Most of them were in WealthyU Society. And in fact, in order to be a WealthyU ambassador, and that is someone who provides accountability and support, as members do what? Go through that curriculum, which I created for Bay Path University, pulling my hair out, making that thing happen. You never lose. You either win or you learn. I want you guys to get this, right? Like, I was being prepared, okay? I created all of that stuff, right? From the 7 wealthy habits that are the framework for the curriculum were a result of me touring with Bishop Jakes and doing blogs. And I felt so anointed at that point. And in fact, I would turn in these blogs and they were like, man, this is amazing. So I came up with Wealthy Outlook, right? The foundation, no habit, the habit of adding value. Oh, and by the way, I was also in grad school. So all I want you guys to know, this is what I want you to know, is that everything that the way that the people in WealthyU are getting the results that they are as a result of the insight that I gained from being in those investment companies, saying, wow, they're doing something totally different, bringing that out to the world, cultivating it. This is what I want you to get, because if you look at, I've written 4 books now. If you look at, the 5th is about to be written. Well, not only written, it's being written right now, but it's about to be published, okay? So all I want you to know is that every experience was able to hone and create the framework for what is now a system that repeats itself, and when applied, gives the same result. If you're in the WealthyU Society right now or any of our programs and you have applied the framework, in the chat, tell me what the framework is. What is the framework that you apply in WealthyU that accelerates your financial growth when you apply it, and basically gives you a greater outcome than you've ever been able to achieve in the past? That's right. Mindset, strategy, and execution. Now, here's what I want you to know. I miss curly Q, just looking at my curly hair. Anyhow, here's what I want you to know. Guess what the missing link was from all of the work that I did? Right? What was it? That's right, Oscar. Mindset. You see, mindset, yes, and community. No doubt about it. But here's what I want you guys to get. It's like, I didn't realize how much mindset impacts and influences everything. And I want you to get this. And that's right, Oscar. So what I had to then understand, and what came to the forefront and became the framework, because the 7 wealthy habits were there, those were principles, right? But there also needed to be a framework and a system that, when methodically put together, is applied and gets a different result. Here's all I want you to know, is that in WealthyU, we spend a lot of time on mindset. And what is mindset? Mindset are our attitudes, our beliefs, and our behaviors. And the fact is that we have been trained to have a poverty mindset. Poverty has less to do with money and more to do with beliefs. I want all of you to get this, because I'm going deep on this in our challenge. In our 5-day challenge, every day you're going to learn a secret. But the first day, you're going to learn the secret of mindset. The fact is, you cannot change what you will not acknowledge. And that certainly was true for me. The reason that I kept hitting this wall and could not get people to move beyond their own limited beliefs was I wasn't addressing those limiting beliefs. Agree or disagree with me? Far too many of us are more worried about not losing than gaining. Carol Dweck, in her book, she calls that the fixed mindset. We are so busy holding on to what we have that we can't gain. And so one of the points that became really, really clear after coaching thousands, sometimes I get off of a coaching call and I'd be like, how is this even possible? Right? Why can't they see that they would already be millionaires, but they're so busy trying to worry about not losing something in the bank? They're getting paid 1% or 2% less than inflation. And then they're in all of these so-called safe investments, and they're paying thousands of dollars in fees per year because somebody is telling them it's safe. And then 10 years later, they got the same thing they started out with. How is that even possible? Are y'all with me? So what I had to learn and what I discovered was that I could not only bring these insights to you, but I first had to break the belief that you already have around what is safe, right? Here's what I want you to know. You cannot save your way to wealth. It is impossible. And so in WealthyU, one of the things that I am clear on is that is what I have to get you to understand. And we do it in a number of different ways. You're going to be introduced to people, many of them in this room, who had a poverty mindset, were able to come into WealthyU. So much of that poverty mindset and that aversion to risk is because the concepts that you learn in WealthyU around how the financial markets work, how to take calculated risk, are not taught in your formal education. Agree or disagree with me? In your formal education, did anyone ever tell you how the financial markets work, how to invest in a stock, how to analyze and research it, how to do proper portfolio allocation? No, right? So because you were never taught that, what happens is, and now I want to go to the next thing. And I want to make sure that you guys don't miss this interview. Last week, I interviewed Emily Flitter, the author of the groundbreaking book, The White Wall: How Big Finance is Bankrupting Black America. And in that book, she literally divulges everything that I've learned in WealthyU about how many of you who think you're being safe are being taken to the cleaners. You're paying more than fees. You're over indexed, and we buy more insurance than any other community. A lot of that insurance is never benefit goes to any beneficiaries, because we either let those policies lapse because the premiums get too high later on in life, and we're sold this bill about, well, we could take a loan. Why am I take a loan on my own money? And that's another story for another day. When you look at the fees, and in fact, I was just looking at this. Well, I don't have to look at it. I am literally in conversations with people and coaching conversations where people have, and y'all know this is true, have called to get their money out of some of these companies and been told, if you take the money out, you're going to get penalized. You're going to get penalized. We're going to take all the interest that you've earned. So you tell me, are you going to be further ahead? Many of you I have investments that you made 10 years ago, and 10 years later, they got the same value. And people are telling you, oh, well, at least, or they're up 1%. Oh, well, at least you didn't lose money. Listen, if you are investing properly and you are earning the average return of the market, and the average return of just a vanilla index fund is 10%, and if you earn 10% using the rule of 72, every 7 years, your money should be doubling. So if that's not happening to you, it's because you have not gotten the insight, the knowledge that you need to have your money grow. So getting back to the book, the interview is airing on the Black Star Network on Monday, January 16th. The same day, that night, we launched the 5-day Get Wealthy Challenge, where I'm going to be sharing the secrets of the 1% and why millionaires are made in recessions, because that's exactly what I learned very early on in my career. Who's ready to learn? If you're ready to learn the secrets of the 1% and why the 99% of most people get fearful when there's any kind of economic disruption, when in fact, disruption is what creates opportunity. Do you get that? I want you guys to get that. So what I want you to understand is that in WealthyU, we go against the grain, because that is what you have to be able to do in order to exceed, in order to succeed. The reason why the wealth gap is so huge, a number of things. And here's all I want you to know. It's not your fault. The truth about wealth is that many of you have done all the right things. I want you to hear this. You've done all the right things. You went through high school. You took those SATs. You got the best grades that you could get. You got into college. You went to that Ivy League. Your parents sacrificed. Not only did you take out loans, but your parents took out personal plus loans. You got that BA, and then you went, you said, I need that master so that I could get into the senior management level and I can make, and then you know what? Boom, 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 the doors were shut. You got all those degrees and nothing to show for it. Now you tell me, how can Black educational attainment be so high and the wealth gap be so wide? Are y'all with me? The math ain't mathing. Listen, the most valuable asset of all, and this is what I learned, and this is why I created WealthyU. You want to know what the most valuable asset of all is? Who wants to know? Who knows? It's not just knowledge. And here is the biggest fallacy of all that we all bought into, myself included, that knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge correctly applied is power. But not just any knowledge. The most valuable asset of all is the knowledge of how to build wealth. Because once you have that knowledge, then what can you do? You can pass it on. Because that's the other thing that I learned. Is that the insight you're going to get in WealthyU, this knowledge, it is not learned through your formal education. It's inherited. Either you came from wealth and you have a family office and a private banker, or you have a family member who is willing to share that information with you. I'm going to land this plane. And here's, I think we have a great example. You know, I was talking to my son, and he was sharing with me that one of his best friends, who is Jewish, that his grandfather basically gave him his financial roadmap. And that's the roadmap that he follows. Are y'all with me? So what I want you to understand is that next week, we are launching our first 5-day challenge of the year. I want to make sure that not only you join, but you have other people join who you know are serious. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to tell y'all. The conversation is different in WealthyU. And in WealthyU, we not only do we never lose, we either win or we learn, but we want winners. So here's what I want you to know. Here's what a winner is. The first thing in W is you have to want it. You have to have a desire, and that you're going to show up here every night and you're going to listen, and then you're going to apply, because every night you're going to have homework to apply to your personal situation. Every day you're going to learn a secret, and you're going to learn how to apply that secret. Now, here's the other thing. The I in win is I am responsible. No one can do this for you, right? Even within our community. I have people say, well, I didn't get to do this, I didn't get to do that. Well, you know what? Let me just tell you, I'm not into excuses. Because Here's all I want to tell you, what I've learned, and that's the end. No excuses. Excuses are just lies we tell ourselves disguised as reasons. Do y'all get that? So who's ready to win? If you're ready to win, say I'm a winner, put it in the chat, put it in the comment chat, in the comment section. If you are a winner and you are ready to accelerate your financial growth and get wealthy, then I want to make sure that you're join us for our Get Wealthy 5-day challenge starting on Monday, January the 16th. I also want to invite you to, the challenge is free, but for those of you who are ready to up level and are ready to go deeper and want a customized experience and want to be in our community of wealth creators every night, experiencing the same kind of energy, because that's what we bring to it every night with excellence, then I want to make sure I give you an opportunity to upgrade to VIP. It's a nominal investment, not even $50, right? Poof, you go out to dinner, that's $50. But this is going to be an investment that is going to pay significant returns for years to come. So we're right at 8:59. Have you guys enjoyed our WealthyU Wind Downs Wednesday? If I've got winners in the room with me, who's a winner? Kimberly Mingo's a winner. Rhett Wilkerson's a winner. Jennifer Tillman is a winner. Paulette Stout is a winner. Roseanne White is a winner. Yvonne Donaldson is a winner. Oscar Webb is a winner. That's right. Yvonne is a winner. Dionne Whitley is a winner. You know what I am so grateful for is that many of you are first timers, but many of you are already in the WealthyU community, and many of you are in our programs. And every day I'm seeing amazing wins, because what happens is when you're a winner, then you have all kinds of win. And we are in winning season. I want again to just give a shout out to Elrethia, who just had $27,000 in student loans forgiven. We've had women who've had $95,000 in student loans forgiven. We've had women who have hit their first 6 figures this year. We have women who have hit their first 7 figures in net worth. Shout out to Jason Blankenship. We have women that are going to not only 7 figures, but multiple 7 figures. And the only thing I want to say to you is if they can do it, you can do it too. If it can happen for them, it can happen for you. And all you need is the right blueprint. And that's exactly what you're going to learn through our 5-day Get Wealthy Challenge. That's going to do it for me this evening. Who's staffing me? Virginia staffing me this evening. Thanks so much. I see so many of our other WealthyU ambassadors. That's the other point I want to make too. If you are in this challenge, you have a WealthyU ambassador. They are reaching out to you during the messenger. And in fact, before I get off this broadcast, why not let them introduce themselves? So if my ambassadors are on right now, I want to give them an opportunity so that you can see who they are. I'm going to start with Virginia. Virginia, you've staffing me tonight, and you're also one of our awesome ambassadors. Just briefly say who you are and how they can connect with you.
Yes, go-getters. I am Virginia Rutherford Hall. You can connect with me just by tapping my picture in Facebook over a messenger. It will link you there and we can connect. Just reach out to me and I'll give you all the details of our upcoming event.
Outstanding. I see one of our newest ambassadors, Roxanne. Unmute yourself and introduce yourself as well. Go ahead.
Hello, WealthyU and go-getters. We are so happy to have you here with us tonight and look forward to seeing each and every one of you starting Monday. I've reached out to 27 of you already, and I'm hoping to hear a response. We're going to have a really good time learning how to get on this Get Wealthy wagon. Thank you so much.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. Let's see who else is here. I know I saw Lynette. Are you here? There she is. Okay, let me go to Lynette. Lynette, say hey, hey. Okay. Not sure why we can't hear Lynette, but let's see, is Anita?
Oh, it wouldn't allow me to unmute.
Okay, go right ahead.
Y'all. I'm Lynette, and I just wanted to, tell y'all that joining WealthyU is the best thing that you can do. I know for me, I went to 2 challenges. The second challenge I joined, but I was like probably some of you that said, I don't want to spend the money, it's too expensive. But at the same time, I had a little birdie in my ear sitting next to me, my oldest daughter, who, kept telling me, Mom, you want to do it. You keep talking about it every time you get off the challenge, so you might as well go ahead and do it. So I finally took the leap on the second challenge, and I've been a part of WealthyU for 2 years now, almost, and I'm enjoying the ride, and now I'm an ambassador, so I'm here to help.
Excellent. So just click on look in your in your messenger box and click on their pictures, and they're really, really here to support you. They were sitting right where you were at one point. Let's see, is Anita or Alice here? All right. Well, hey, folks, I just again want to thank you for joining us on WealthyU Wind Down. We can't wait to get to know you. Our next 5 days are going to be amazing. It starts on Monday at 8 o'clock. And I can't wait to connect with all of you every night. That's going to do it for me this evening. Thanks so much for joining us. And I can't wait to see you in our 5-day Get Wealthy.